Hey up everyone, welcome to another episode. In today's episode, we're going to explore what the red and amber list means for us native birds. Currently, there's 67 species of birds on the red list and 96 on the amber list. The bullfinch that you see in this clip is currently on amber list. So what does the red list and the amber list mean for the airgun hunter in the UK? In the last week or so, there's been some comments released by Natural England stating that you should only control Corvids for birds that are on the red or amber list. So the purpose of this video is to highlight some of the birds that are on red and amber list. As an airgun hunter, if you hold these species on your land, on your permissions, it gives good reason to control Corvids. General licenses and illegal legislation that's released is always open to interpretation. Although interpretation can be useful, it's always mindful to make sure you keep right side of the law. Sometimes it don't make much sense. You can't control Corvids to protect songbirds such as robins. But this hawfinch is on the red list. What I would say is get to know your land, get to know your permissions. Through observation, you'll find out what species of birds your permission and land holds. Once you've identified these different species, you can use that to your advantage. The laws and legislation are generally created by people that don't understand this quarry, don't understand the bird species, and don't understand the UK countryside on a whole. Corvids, which includes magpies, jackdaws, crows, etc., are apex predators. In this clip, you'll see what I'm talking about. This clip is evidence of a pair of magpies making short work of an hawfinch. They'll do this to any songbird or any bird population. They're indiscriminate. As hunters, we have the opportunity to protect all hedgerow birds. So the next time you're in the countryside and you walk in a hedgerow, bear in mind that the work we do is conservation work. You're protecting all species of birds. To justify it, we can say we're protecting birds on red and amber list, but that'll also have an indirect effect on all other birds. The tree sparrow and the house sparrow, species of bird, are in serious decline in the UK. And a lot of this has contributed to Corvids and domestic cats. Our efforts make a positive impact on all species of birds, and if we don't take proactive action, some species might not be here in years to come. This next clip is a blackbird's nest. As you can see, there's 4 eggs in the space of 24 hours. A magpie, after repeated visits, decimated 4 eggs and made short work of it. Organisations such as Wild Justice, RSPB, state there's no evidence for Corvids having negative impacts, particularly jackdaws, on different bird species. As you can see from this clip, they're trying to destroy a nest site. In this case, it's a feral pigeon, which is also classed as vermin. I wanted to include this clip to illustrate how they harass and have a negative impact on all bird species. A familiar sight for a lot of people that enjoy UK countryside is the kestrel. This is one of our native birds of prey. It currently sits on amber list. Again, if you hold these on your permission, it'd be a good reason to control Corvids. This is a familiar sight, and one that had identified this bird quite easily. Hovering, looking for its prey. In this instance, it's a rat. I'm sure we've all seen this many a time. This video clip shows direct interaction between a jackdaw and a kestrel, and they're competing for a nest box. Now, Corvids don't also have just an effect on different bird species. Are endangered amphibians like newts, frogs, which are becoming very rare on the ground, and toads. As I mentioned before, they are indiscriminate, and they'll target a lot of species. They're having a negative impact throughout the UK. This brings me on to the 5 species of owl, our native owls in UK. 2 of these currently sit on amber list. You've got your tawny owl and your short-eared owl. Again, do your observation work. I'm sure if you've got woodland permissions, you'll either hear or see these species of owls. And again, it just justifies what we're doing. And the interpretation of the legislation and the laws gives you a right to control Corvids in these areas. Barn owl is probably one of the most familiar sights and one of the most commonly seen native owls in the UK. In this clip, you'll see 2 jackdaws on numerous occasions attacking a little owl and competing for a nesting site. Now, according to Natural England, RSPB and Wild Justice, jackdaws aren't a threat to any UK bird species. Again, this footage is evidence that they will harass and have a negative impact on different bird species. A common bird species to be seen in the UK is the sparrow and the common starling. A few years ago, common starling were on the quarry list, but now the numbers are in serious decline. My point to this is they are commonly seen birds. A lot of areas of land hold these birds, and they are on the red list or amber list. So it's worth bearing that in mind. Another bird in serious decline is turtle dove. I think these are only held in small pockets in certain areas of country now. But just bear it in mind, if you've got these on your land, on your permissions, again, you can interpret the law and legislation to your advantage. The cousin and the competitor to the turtle dove, which you can see in this image, is a collared dove. In 2020, that bird species was taken off the general license, so they must be considered under threat. There's also the stock dove. A lot of my permissions hold stock doves. These birds are on the red list or amber list. So get to know your quarry, get to know the different bird species, and take advantage of it. Again, we're going to see some footage of a pair of jackdaws. In this footage, again, they're harassing a stock dove in a breeding box and a nesting site. And they harass this stock dove to the point that it abandoned its nest. It's worth mentioning again that the people that create the laws and legislation have probably spent no time in the countryside. They don't understand the species, they don't understand nature, and they don't understand the ways of the country people. We see it firsthand, and we know what the truth is. A common bird for us all to see is the humble mallard. Now these are on the amber list, I believe. It's a strange thought when you think there's a lot of them in the country. It's probably the migratory birds that are suffering. There's also 5 species of gull on the red and amber list. Now we've all got thoughts on these need controlling inland, away from the coastal areas. But maybe the gull can help us. Inadvertently. Gulls on your permissions. Again, it's another justifiable reason to control the Corvids. A native bird to the UK is a grey partridge. These are in serious decline. French partridge seems to be the most common one that we see in the UK now. But look around. Identify all the different bird species that are on your land. Do your own work. Make your interpretations. Make sure you keep legal on the right side of the law. But again, think about what advantages the red and amber lists could actually give us as hunters. The crow is a foe of the air gunner. In this video clip, you can see it harassing a barn owl. Looks like it's caught it out in daylight, found its roosting spot. Now birds of prey, particularly owls, are nervous creatures, and it wouldn't take much for a bird like a crow to send this barn owl into shock. The shock's a killer for all animals. I say time and time again, that observation is key to what we do. I can't stress enough that you should know what species of bird you have on your land. In this clip, it's a lapwing. Again, these are on the red or amber list. As well as the cuckoo. Now the cuckoo can have negative impacts on bird species. They like to steal nest sites. One of the main purposes of this video is to highlight how the red list and amber list can be used to our advantage. There's some 200 and something species of birds on these red and amber lists. I've included this clip for Wild Justice, RSPB, DEFRA, Natural England. Same, we can't control jackdaws because they don't predate on birds' nests and eggs. As you can see, that's a total fabrication. The woodcock is a bird we're all familiar with. It's migratory. It travels from Scandinavia each winter to winter in the UK's more comfortable climate. These are travellers and they can end up on most missions. I've included a few bits of hunting footage here. It's controlling Corvids, all in the name of conservation and to protect other species of birds. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Please leave some comments. Let me know your thoughts. Before we finish, let me just say, although things are open to interpretation, you have to be mindful to make sure that everything we do is legal. We can't give people ammunition to use against us. We're already being persecuted for being a minority. But hopefully it's given you some food for thought